At 72, John had one habit he never questioned. Not once. Not in years. His doctor had warned him about it. His daughter had noticed it. But John believed one thing: if I feel fine, I am fine. He was wrong, and what happened next almost cost him everything. John Miller lived alone in a quiet suburban neighborhood outside Columbus, Ohio. He wasn't unhealthy. At least, not in the way people imagine. He didn't smoke. He rarely drank. He kept things simple. Every morning, coffee, toast, the news playing softly in the background. After retirement, his world had become smaller, quieter, but there was something else too. Something subtle. Something easy to ignore. John was slowing down. Not dramatically. Just enough to notice. If you were paying attention. It started with the headaches. Not sharp. Not unbearable. Just a dull pressure. Right behind his eyes. He'd rub his temples, take a sip of coffee and move on. Then came the fatigue. Not the kind that makes you collapse. The kind that makes everything feel like a little more effort. Walking to the mailbox. Standing up from the couch. Everything felt just slightly heavier. But to John, this wasn't alarming. It was aging. And aging, he believed, was something you just accept. His daughter, Emily, noticed it before anyone else. "Dad, you don't look like yourself," she said one evening. John laughed it off. "I'm 72, Em. What do you expect?" But Emily wasn't convinced. She noticed how he paused before standing up. How he sat longer than usual. How his energy just wasn't there anymore. "Maybe you should get checked," she insisted. John waved her off. No need to waste money on doctors for nothing. That sentence would come back later. Weeks passed. The headaches became more frequent. The fatigue lingered longer. Then came something new. Dizziness. It didn't happen all the time. Just in moments, standing up too fast, turning too quickly. The room would spin just for a second. Then it would pass. And every time it did, John told himself the same thing. It's nothing. One morning, something felt different. John woke up and didn't feel rested. His chest felt tight. Not painful, just uncomfortable. He sat on the edge of his bed, waiting for it to pass. It did, but something about that moment lingered. A quiet warning. The kind most people ignore. Until they can't. Later that afternoon, John stood up from his chair. And suddenly, the room tilted. His vision blurred. His balance disappeared. He reached for the table, missed it, and hit the floor. Hard. For a moment, everything went silent. Then came the panic. His heart was racing. His breathing was uneven. And for the first time, John felt something he hadn't felt before. Fear. At the hospital, everything moved fast. Nurses, monitors, questions. Emily arrived, shaken. "Why didn't you tell me it was this bad?" she asked. John didn't have an answer, because in his mind, it wasn't that bad. Not until now. Then the doctor walked in, and everything changed. John's blood pressure was dangerously high. Not just elevated, critical. The doctor explained it clearly. This didn't happen overnight. This had been building, silently, for years. The headaches, the fatigue, the dizziness, they weren't random. They were warnings. Warnings John had ignored. High blood pressure is often called the silent killer, because most people don't feel it until the damage is already done. It quietly strains your heart, damages your blood vessels, increases your risk of stroke, heart attack, kidney failure, and millions of people are living with it, right now, without even knowing. John was lucky. He got treatment in time. Medication, diet changes, regular monitoring. It wasn't easy, but it was necessary. Months later, he sat in the same chair, by the same window. But this time, something was different. He was paying attention to his body, to the signs, to the things he once ignored. If there's one thing John wishes he could go back and change, it's this. He would have taken the small signs seriously. Because the body whispers before it screams. If you're over 50, or you have someone you love who is, don't wait for the fall. Check your blood pressure. Pay attention to the signs. Because aging is natural, but suffering doesn't have to be. Share this with someone who needs to hear it today.